But of course, yeah, I mean, I come across like gorgeous girls on the timeline, and I'm like, I don't see them as competition, but sometimes it's hard to not feel insecure. But at the end of the day, though, since I know the game so well, I know that it's probably Facetune. She probably has surgery, you know, like me, I'm just this 19-year-old girl, like just working with what I have kind of thing. Like I haven't, like, I know that I can't compare my life to anybody else's. I can't compare my looks to anybody else's, because just how I could find one guy handsome, I could find another guy handsome. So, and something that I always tell young girls is like, you know, another woman's beauty doesn't define yours or take away from you, or, you know, and I try to tell people that like beauty is truly a myth. You know, these are just societal standards that were created that, you know, we deemed beautiful or not beautiful, but it's not really real, you know?
Fight.
What's up? Okay, I'm sorry guys, I'm not used to my hair down, so I'm trying to, I don't know, I try to do something fancy for y'all.
You good?
Yeah.
It's a fresh jacket you got on. It's warm.
Thank you, it is.
All right, yeah, so I mean, you can tell us about yourself. Like, I never met you before.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You guys don't have any like specific questions yet? Or you guys just want me to start with?
I think he got some
I
questions.
do have a little bit of questions.
Yeah, okay. But I guess the basics would be, I mean, I'm 19 years old. I'm in my second year of college. I study entertainment media management. I come from Carson, California. I've been modeling since like a freshman in high school. That's kind of what started I started doing like stuff with social media and brands like my freshman year, and then just did what I could, built up, you know, a little bit of social media stuff. Yeah, I came to college. I feel like I'm finally just getting to like be myself now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at in life right now.
Yeah. Wait, like, so I guess we jump this question right now, because we like to ask like our guests like their mindsets, you know? So how do you feel like going from high school to college? Like, this is your first year?
My second
year?
Yeah.
So like this transition that you've been going through as far as like a young person to like an adult now, like how's that been for you? Like,
honestly, it's something that I feel like I've been preparing for since like 8th grade. Like in 8th grade was like when I could say I became aware of a lot of things. Like I started getting into like manifestation and the power of now and stuff like that. So I started practicing that. So knowing that in the 8th grade, like when I was a freshman, I was like, okay, boom. And by like this time in college, I bet I'm going to be doing this and that. And honestly, it's kind of came into fruition. Like, of course, ups and downs through the journey. But overall, it's like, it's almost like I planned it. Of course, curveballs came to me, but like, I don't know. I feel like I handled it pretty good. I've always been good in school, so it was never too hard for me. And like, the transition, I knew that I had to be away from home and be in my own space, so I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy just learning a lot about life. So like college, I feel like it's, you know, it doesn't give you what K through 12 gives you. It gives me a lot of insight on like cultural studies and like stuff about women. So I just feel like incredibly empowered to be, you know, to be in this space. So it's honestly been a pretty smooth transition overall, because I know that this is where I need to be. So that's just
good.
It's been a pretty good transition. Of course, stuff happens. There's times, you know, up at 6 a.m. finishing an essay. Like it's ups and downs, but I'm kind of just grateful for everything that comes with it, you know?
wow.
Dope.
Sure. Yeah.
Are there any like are there any like specific like, I guess, instances that like in your past, I guess, that like helped you, I guess, like in this transition, like anything specific that's happened to you?
I guess just growing up with like a single mother and just seeing her like just handle everything like beautiful in like a country that's foreign to her, and like just seeing her like just take care of us and never like, you know, she always had us right, even though like, you know, we didn't come from like money or anything, but she just had us right. So I guess that's always been my inspiration. I'm like, if she was able to maintain, like, how could I not maintain with all of these opportunities that I have, like with just everything that I have? I'm like, oh, like I got this, you know? That's kind of my motivation, really.
I feel that. Yeah, it's like a responsibility, like that your parents. I mean, I just feel responsible to like take the reins of the household and shit, because they've been holding it down for so long.
Exactly.
Where's your mom from?
She's from Mexico.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Jalisco specifically.
Oh, nice.
Damn. So like, you're like a first generation college student?
Yeah, I'm a first
That's dope as
generation.
fuck.
Yeah. So my sister was like the first one to go to college. She graduated, and then I was up next. So
Yeah,
I'm here and stuff.
for sure. All right, you said like you did modeling. So,
Yeah.
like, what made you?
Yeah.
How'd you get into that?
So I remember like my first photo shoot, like the very first time that I was like, oh, I kind of like doing this, was because my sister had a photography project for like her school. She was like a senior. And I mean, I was young and those pictures were not, it was like a film thing. And like, I mean, I was just this little like fifth grader and, you know, I looked crazy, but I kind of just enjoyed it. And then, you know, I would just post pictures on Instagram and like people, I guess, liked them. And then from there, I had a friend who had a friend, and her mom basically owned this sunglass company. So she was like, hey, like, you know, tell Dre if she wants to model for us or whatever, you know. So that's how I got into it. So I started modeling for her. I would go on photo shoots like for the sunglass company. And then obviously posting that, tagging them, geared other companies to come and be like, oh, you know, like, let me send you this, like, take pictures in it. And then from there, I just started developing relationships with different photographers, different brands, and it kind of just developed into this. But I feel like I've done a lot, and I, you know, I pat myself in the back for it, but I feel like I'm just getting started, you know?
Wow, that's chill.
Yeah, you're young.
And I'm 19.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Have you gotten Fashion Nova yet? Have they hit your line? Or?
They did, but Fashion Nova brand deals. Sorry, Fashion Nova.
Yeah.
I don't know, just not the bag wasn't really right, you know. Or sometimes like, I did do some shit for Fashion Nova like a long time ago. Like they had like sent me stuff. This is like before like everybody was on the Fashion Nova wave. So I actually did get some stuff sent from them a little while ago.
Sure,
But yeah.
sure. Damn.
Do you have any like sponsors, or like do these brands just like send you products and they're just like, oh, like show it on Instagram kind of thing?
So it can vary. So some people, like there's some people that I could reach out to and be like, hey, you know, let's trade services. Let's do something, because let's say I might like your brand, or, you know, they could take the deal or not take the deal. In the beginning, when I first started, I was definitely doing everything like mainly for free, you know, because it was just the beginning. It was just me getting accustomed to it. So yeah, it was just like, okay, send me stuff. But now, like, it's really a business. Like, I had like a certain brand deal with this certain company, and like for 3 posts, like on Instagram, and 3 on my story, like it was like a nice bag, you know. And it was like I got to go to their showroom, pick out the stuff. And then that was because there was a girl who was in charge of my brand deal. So she would email companies and be like, hey, I have this girl on my roster. This is what her engagement looks like. You know, this is the price, like, and they'll do it, you know? So that's like a more professional brand deal that I did. But then there's stuff that, you know, I could do by myself, or a brand could, like, you know, somebody could hit me and be like, yo, like, I want you to wear my jeans. And if I rock with them, then I'll just wear them because I want to. And then, you know, if it's something else, I'd be like, okay, well, a page post will be this much, a story post would be this much, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, shit, that's dope. It's like a hustle.
It is. It is.
That's dope.
It is.
Yeah, like, so I know, like, do you ever feel like you're in competition with other IG models? Like, what's it like being an IG model?
No, because I've never followed any. Like, the people who I follow, like, I make sure I create my social media space to be healthy for me.
Okay.
And, like, I just follow people that I'm close to, my friends, my family, you know, literally people I've worked with. But I'm not the type to just follow girls and see what they're doing and, like, scroll past that.
Yeah.
I definitely have my moments where, you know, I catch myself on the explore page, even though now I kind of use social media in a different way. Like, I try my best not to sit and scroll. It's just like, okay, I have to post right now. I have to do this. I have to create this content. Like, it's really like
a business.
Strategical. Yeah. So, and of course, you know, like everybody, you catch yourself scrolling. But when I catch myself, I'm like, all right, like, you know, shut it down.
Yeah.
But of course, yeah, I mean, I come across like gorgeous girls on the timeline, and I'm like, I don't see them as competition, but sometimes it's hard to not feel insecure. But at the end of the day, though, since I know the game so well, I know that it's probably Facetune. She probably has surgery, you know, like me, I'm just this 19-year-old girl, like just working with what I have kind of thing. Like, I haven't, like, I know that I can't compare my life to anybody else's. I can't compare my looks to anybody else's, because just how I could find one guy handsome, I could find another guy handsome. So, and something that I always tell young girls is like, you know, another woman's beauty doesn't define yours or take away from you, or, you know, and I try to tell people that like beauty is truly a myth. You know, these are just societal standards that were created that, you know, we deemed beautiful or not beautiful, but it's not really real, you know?
Yeah, that's facts. Me preaching right now. It's crazy.
Did you learn this? Are you like learning this throughout the process, or do you think you've always known that?
I feel like it's a little bit of both. It's like it's concepts that I feel like I knew, but you have to practice this. You know, it's like, because I could know that my beauty isn't determined or measured by somebody else's, but you could still get caught up in it, you know? So it just kind of takes practice, a bit of training your mind to be like, when you have those negative thoughts or those insecure thoughts or those, you know, just anything ugly, to be like, that's not the truth. Like, I'm good, I'm blessed, and I just shift my thoughts into all things positive, all things that, you know, I am happy about.
I was gonna say, like, so you're into fashion, like fashion. What is, or can you describe like your style?
So I feel like I don't have a set style, and you could kind of see that on my Instagram. And I don't know if it happened because it dealt with me working with brands. So like, you know, I worked with other looks as opposed to working on mine all the time. So I just feel like I can't be categorized. I feel like I could just do anything. Like, I really like streetwear fashion. I'm into all of that. But then like, I could still pop out in like a dress and some heels. Like, it's just really whatever I like. You know, it doesn't even have to be designer. It could, you know, I could go into a thrift store and find some cold stuff that I like. But, you know, I feel like I can't afford my real style just yet, you know, but I've definitely developed it. And like I said, like with the power of my mind, like there's so many things that I was like, oh yeah, like I'm going to get that. Like I'm going to do this, or I'm going to get that, or I'm going to develop it into this. And I feel like that's in the transition that I'm in now, like really stepping into, you know,
like a comfort zone. Like,
like, or really
do,
just, like I feel like the image in my head has always been clear, but I've never executed it, you know?
Damn.
But now I'm finally kind of having the chance to do it, because just growing up in like a traditional Hispanic household, it's like you couldn't go crazy with the fits. You couldn't go, you know, and my mom wasn't too close-minded, but I know like when I experimented, or if I wanted to go as far as I wanted to, it would have been like, no, you can't do that. And then, you know, my first year of college was getting the hang of college. So now I'm in my second year, second semester. I got the hang of college. You know, I'm away from my mom. I'm in my own place. Like, so that's what I mean by I'm really like a baby. I feel like a baby still, like, because I'm barely like transitioning into that.
Wow.
Damn. So mature.
Yeah, for real.
Thank you.
I meant to ask, my question came back. So I wanted to ask you about like, you mentioned earlier something about like the feminism. Like, are you like big on that, like the feminist movement?
Yeah. So
like,
I've taken a lot of like gender women's studies classes. So I just feel like I've just learned a lot about why we play these roles that we play, you know. And I kind of hate that the word feminism kind of, I guess everyone has their own definition, and everyone maybe will express it differently. But like, to me, like feminism is just kind of like reclaiming your power, understanding where your power was taken away from, why your power was taken away, but also understanding like, not that men aren't at fault, but like I feel like you guys, like let's say you guys right now that are sitting in front of me, like you guys aren't at fault for the fact that, you know, the roles are how they are. Like, this is just stuff from the beginning of time, you know, creating gender roles to create, you know, to just have control over somebody. So with me, when it comes to feminism, I try to teach people like, hey, look, like men are this way for this reason and we can't blame them. And women are this way for this reason and we can't blame them. So the step now is just acknowledging everything, acknowledging the toxic traits in masculinity and femininity, and then working through all of that to kind of just create a balance, you know?
Yeah. I just think it's crazy because, like, I think for the first time we're seeing how, like, you know, you guys are getting that freedom to do whatever the fuck you want. Like, it's like a level playing field now.
Yeah.
Because for years it's been like men on top. So now women getting that freedom back, like how you guys responding is just crazy to see. Or not, y'all not crazy, but it's just crazy to see it.
Yeah.
For me, like I don't know, like.
Nah, it's definitely like a beautiful transition, but
Yeah.
there's like a ton of work.
Yeah.
A ton of work to be done.
You know, like,
still.
we're in that period right now. So it's like I hope things could just cool down where everyone's egos like chill out, so we can all kind of like discuss what's like the issue, you know?
Exactly. Because you know, if women could have more understanding of men and men could have more understanding of women, but it all comes down to like wanting to understand, you know? So like I said, I was lucky enough to like to be able to take classes on this and learn the history and know the facts and just be like, oh, okay, like, so as cool as that, I'm not going to argue with somebody just to argue and it's like, oh, I think this and that. Now I'm like, no, this was systematic and it happened like this and it happened like that. So, you know, I'm just glad that I could have this knowledge because my goal is just to be able to spread it out to everybody.
Spread it out how? Like, what do you want to do?
I mean, you know, like I do YouTube and stuff like that. And I had an old channel. It had got deleted, but I would talk a lot about, you know, like how to be more positive and stuff like that. And what kind of sucks, though, with this generation is that they don't really like to hear real things a lot of the time, you know? So it's like I could post a video really preaching, saying real things that would really benefit society, and it's going to get half of the engagement than a selfie that I post, you know? And that sucks. That's like the worst part. But, I mean, I just want to keep going. Like, eventually I would love, like, I mean, like I just see my journey as me morphing into so many different things with no specific lane.
Wow.
But ultimately, like somewhere in there, I would love to like just have my own talk show and just share the knowledge because like I said, everybody doesn't have the opportunity. So like ignorance is bliss and stuff, but some people like don't even have the privilege to unlearn from their ignorance or learn new concepts. So I kind of want to give back to the people who don't have the privilege to do these kind of things and learn these kind of things. So, you know, we could eventually create a more functional society.
Wow, definitely. Well, I hope you could do that shit because we need people like you. Yeah, for real. So yeah, Tyler, he told me about how you had like this video where you did song. What did she do?
So just about the first video I looked up when I looked up your account was the Billie Eilish one.
Yeah, the sad thing is that that's not on my actual account and I didn't make nothing off of it. No, I'm kidding. But, so that started as a very small idea, as like
a joke.
We knew that. Not even that. It was like people would be like, hey, you kind of look like Billie Eilish sometimes, you know? So it started from there. So we were going to do a video where I was just going to get styled like her. Like solely just put into an outfit to see if I really looked like her. It wasn't going to be nothing crazy. So we do that. And while we're in the midst of that, we're like, I should low-key go out in public. And the crazy part was that we're going to pay people to come up to me and like be like, oh my God, is it Billie Eilish? Right?
Holy
like it was supposed to be
shit.
like very minimal, very like not a big deal. So we do it, we style me, and then we're like, whoa, like this is kind of crazy. Like you think, you know, people would think this is really me. So we were out with other people. We were in Miami, and like the other people were like, yo, like what if we go to the mall? Like, you know, people just kind of started building on the idea. Let's go to the mall.
Like
let's get some security. Like, let's do this. So to me, I kind of was taking it as a social experiment. I'm like, how do people really, you know, because I'm looking at her page, millions of followers. I mean, she's on top of the world right now. She's on top of the world. So I was like, to me, it was going to be experimental. Like, how do people really react to this? Because I haven't been, like, a fan of anybody in, like, a long time. So I wouldn't even know how, you know, fans would respond to this. So we go ahead and go. And, like, right when we get off the SUV, like, somebody was like, is that Billie? And I was like,
Whoa.
oh, wait. I was
Holy
like,
shit.
oh, man, wait, hold up. Like, and I didn't even have my hair the same as her. Like, it wasn't even that deep. Like,
It was just the style.
yeah, it
Like,
was
what
just
you were
I
wearing.
mean,
That's
I had a
crazy.
hoodie on, but you could tell that my hair was dyed a different color. But, I mean, I don't know. People were just whatever. But we literally are walking, and then I just start hearing everybody. And I'm like, oh God. Like,
Shit.
so we basically only make it to the Louis V store. And by the time we're in there, they had to close it down because it was a mob of people standing outside.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm
that's
like,
crazy.
what the hell? And the whole time I'm just thinking about like, Billie is a real person.
Yeah.
Like, Billie is a real person, and people are literally just dehumanizing her. Like, if I were to be her, like, I wouldn't be treated as a human. I would be treated as like
A product.
yeah. Like someone that I'm a fan of, and I'm like, that's crazy to me. You know, that was just my realization through it. And then, you know, whatever from there, the people were like, all right, we're going to let you guys out from this area. So the whole video was just me going in and right out. Like right out. And that created the biggest mob of people. And like, the way that I feel about it now, because Billie Eilish did speak out about it, and you know, she said she didn't like it. She did say she did like one video, and I think she was talking about. No, I'm sure she was talking about me because I mentioned what she had mentioned.
She never personally reached out to you, or did she like personally reach out to you?
She commented on the actual video.
Oh shit!
So when the video came out, she commented and was like, "Oh, now you guys see what life is like 24/7." So you know, she found it funny, and like she whatever, but. The thing was that people started to mimic that after me. So then I almost felt a little bit responsible, even though it wasn't my responsibility. But I was like, yeah, like this is dangerous as hell. Like you could get trampled, you could get, you know, like, and it's just messed up, period. So I do regret it. I'm not going to lie. I do regret it. Like it was just like, I feel like it's just a bad image because I wasn't trying to feel famous. It just kind of snowballed into this really big thing that nobody expected, you know, to have. And yeah, so she did an interview and she was talking about like how people, you know, are doing this trend, and she's like, oh, I actually like this one girl, blah blah. I think it was me. I don't know. I think, but yeah, no, like that was just a crazy experience because it was just like people just act ridiculous, you know.
You said something about like the power and now. I remember like earlier. Mm-hmm. And so, like, tell me something about that. Because I read a book called The Power Now, so I'm curious.
Yeah, that's my favorite book. That's
Swear.
what I'm talking about.
Did you read the follow-up one?
I didn't read the follow-up one.
Okay, for sure. Yeah.
I didn't. But yeah, basically that. It really started with, have you ever watched the documentary The Secret?
Nah. It's like, go ahead.
It's about, like, the law of attraction. And that's what my brother told me about that. And then he told me about that. I watched the documentary, and I was like, oh, no way. But like I'm telling you, I was in the 8th grade. Like now, I thought I was so grown back then. I don't know, but like now, I look back, I was a little girl, like, you know, accepting these concepts and not being like, I just embraced it because I'm like, okay, if this is or isn't true, like if I try it out and believe it and practice what this is teaching me, only good could come out of it. If I practice this and, you know, I believe in it and nothing happens, like, then nothing happened. But I don't know. I really feel like I've manifested my life so far. Like, all of my accomplishments, like, have all came with just me having, like, a strong vision and, like, literally, like, meditating and, like, feeling these things in my presence. And I feel like that's kind of what's helped come into fruition.
What do you do when you meditate? Like, what's your meditation
well,
like?
I really like there's this certain guided meditation that I really like, and it's like it takes you through a guided meditation where you visualize like all that you want. So like through the guided meditation, it'll tell you like, okay, like imagine this big wooden door, and then like imagine that like you're an artist and you're literally creating the house of your dreams, and you go through like every detail of the house basically, and like the rooms, the feeling of like, you know, it talks about, okay, take off your shoes and like, you know, be on the floor, and just getting into these deep visions and just like imagining it. And I truly believe that one day, like,
holy,
that's just what it's gonna be.
You're gonna manifest
but
it down.
It's a tricky concept because it's like knowing how to balance like your thoughts of, okay, I want this and this is coming to me, but also accepting that you have everything right now. Yeah, that's kind of the key.
Wait, can you say that one more time?
So it's kind of like finding it's tricky. It's really tricky. Like even through all the research and just reading things,
it's like a balance, right? Like,
yeah, it's like, okay, creating a vision for what you want in the future, right? Like being like, this is the career, this is blah blah, but also accepting that you have all of that right now.
Yeah.
If that makes it
Nah,
doesn't.
That makes total sense. I had that same thought
I don't
like
know
today.
if that makes sense, but it's
does.
more of like a feeling that you practice. But obviously, like if you tell somebody that's never kind of looked into it, then like it's like, huh? But there's like you could YouTube like how to create your own reality, and there's like people talking about it, and there's like it's like science behind this. Like it's science behind like your thoughts and your thoughts being connected to your emotions and creating, this reality. And like just kind of how, we've experienced a lot of things, right? We've experienced so much, but the power of now basically talks about how pain and anxiety only exist in the past or in the future. So if you think about it right now that we're sitting right here, there's no problem in your guys' life. There's no problem in my life. Right now, this second now, there's no problem. There's nothing that we're going through besides being here doing this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
This shit I be telling you all the time.
I know. I was like,
But
wait, I think of a lot of problems right now.
but of course, if you're like, no, but I have these bills to pay, but that's not right now. That's in the future. Or, oh, but so and so like had broke my heart, so that's why I am how I am now. That lives in the past, and it doesn't live right now. And that's the hardest thing to accept in a society that's based off calendars and time and scheduling and this and that. That's like a very Eurocentric way of living, and like it's kind of robotic, and it's actually pretty dysfunctional for me, I feel. But that's kind of what I have not a hard time with, but it's tricky, like living in a certain society that functions in a certain way that has taught me to, it's like the moment that you're able to talk, what do you want to be when you grow up? You're already thinking about the future. You're already thinking about what you want to be when you grow up.
Yeah, you don't think about right now.
Embracing the now. And, as you delve deep into it, because people be like, well, if I have an appointment on Monday, like, how am I just not going to think about the fact that I have an appointment on Monday? But there's explanations to all of that and how to operate and maneuver through a society that is built on like, okay, the rent is due at this time, and it's about having a balance, really.
That's what this book is about?
Yeah, bro.
Damn, I should read this.
Yeah, like
the power of now. That's like what it's basically about.
I read the one after that one. Like that's what I read this summer, and then like that shit taught me about like how to be present. Like just like ignore all the block out, turn off your brain basically. Like so you don't think about all this unnecessary bullshit, and you just focus on like being in this moment type shit. Like,
exactly.
Same shit.
That's like bringing like a meditation into your real life, and that's why people meditate. So people meditate to practice how to get out of their thoughts, to practice how to, just focus on your breath and breathe, because that'll bring, intense peace. So when you practice that, like you're not just supposed to just meditate and then, okay, I'm done with my meditation, I'm going on about my day. The point is to learn how to do that in your present life, so when you get those feelings of anxiety, to just bring yourself back to your breath and be like, okay, it's all good. I can't stress over these certain things.
Yeah, like you could be happy simply because like you realize you're alive and shit. Like just for the simple fact that you're alive, like I'm happy because of that. Like
And it sounds cliche, and it's hard to do. I mean, I have mental breakdowns every other week. Like it happens. But the thing is that my lows can never be that low because of it. Even when I feel like low as hell, like even when I'm just like I'm tired, like what is going on in the world around me, like it's almost usually never my own life, but just the stuff around me that kind of seems to have like an effect on me and take like an emotional toll on like just how life is, and like just all the cruelty and just everything. That's what'll get to me. But I have to snap out of it and be like, okay, I empathize with that, but I just have to be grateful for what I have and the fact that my life isn't like that, Yeah. But that's just hard when you're empathetic,
Wow. Damn, same wave.
I know. I was gonna say, like, do you guys not think about being caught in the present too much? Or no? Can you not be in the present too often?
No, you try to be in the present like
all the time.
Yeah, I try not to think about.
The thing is that the present will allow you to do all of the things that you're trying to handle in your future 100 times better because you're focused. So it's like, okay, I have this assignment to do, so I'm gonna be present with my assignment. Even though it's due an hour from now, or even though my essay is due 3 weeks from now, but I'm working on it now, and I'm putting all my attention and all of my focus on this essay that's due right now.
Yeah, it's like you enjoy the journey. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Enjoying your journey and not thinking about. I literally just had this conversation with somebody, and I was talking about how like life. We always try to decipher the meaning of life or or our purpose and stuff.
I'm taking a class on that shit right now, actually, so it's kind of funny.
Well, all right, you should tell me about that after.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so basically, it's like, damn, I forgot what I was saying, low-key.
Meaning of life, like
the meaning of life. Okay, so I feel like sometimes we put too much thought and emphasis on like the end goal. And that's going to just basically mess you all the way up, because you're supposed to understand and feel whole where you're at right now. Of course, we all have dreams that we're trying to get to and we're not there yet. But understanding that this right now is part of the dream, and it's part of the goal, and it's part of the journey. And being just content with every single part of it, even the parts that suck, even the parts that seem like they're trying to tear you down. I always try to just tell people, have an attitude of like, not why is this happening to me, but what is this trying to teach me? You have an easier time with life 19, like that.
You think like that? No.
The power of now.
You're ahead of the game.
The power of now. The power of now, man.
The book was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I had a question.
Wait, tell me about your class a little bit.
Meaning of life? Oh, fuck. So basically.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, like it's a philosophy class.
Okay.
So they talk about the meaning of life, and like basically they're just asking like the big questions, like why do we exist? What's our purpose here? Is God real? Does God exist? Like, so he's like, the whole class is just spent like discussing those questions.
Yeah.
And then like the teacher, basically he just wants you to think, because there is no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, there's not.
He's just like, all right, just think about, you know. That's why the tests are so hard.
Yeah, taking an exam, it could
be
this,
no answer. You just got to write like,
just whatever you think.
Yeah. And then like basically it deals a lot with God. Like, and I have my own thoughts on what the meaning of life is. I feel like the meaning of life is like the journey, I think that it's the process itself of like, just enjoy what you're going through right now, because that's making you who you're supposed to be in the future, so like just enjoy that ride, because once you're dead, like it's over. And then in that class we talk about what happens when you die. Like, is there afterlife? Do you reincarnate? Like all this fucking shit. And then basically like there's no right answer, but he tells you what these other philosophers thought.
Yeah.
And like they're all pretty negative. They're like, there's no God, like there's no hope, all kinds of bullshit. But you can find hope in like the little things. Like they go back to like they kind of where we're at right now as far as enjoying the present moment. I feel like that's where they're trying to get to. Like, yeah. But they never know how to put it to like direct words. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, definitely. So and then I feel like with those classes, what's like important to see is like where those philosophers come from, like then there's like even deeper research into like, okay, why do they think that way? What's their cultural background? Whereas, because like right now I'm taking this course on spirituality and religion, and it's through a Chicano studies course. So, and then before that I had taken an Africana studies class. It was an intro, but like my teacher was pretty like spiritual and stuff. So I noticed a lot of connections between like, let's just say with like the Aztecs thought, or like tribes in Africa, like their core principles aligned with a lot of like native, like anything that was like native, like core, like all the core beliefs and stuff, even just like, I don't know how to explain it, but
white people just fucked it up. That's
basically, really, it was just the Eurocentricity that came and just.
We was chilling with the earth. We was enjoying with the
earth,
shit.
the sun, and the moon, and all the vibes,
building temples and shit. Like,
but then they wanted to go and assign gender to God and make God male and make God have these powers and but that, and I just feel like that tainted everything. So it's cool. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, I get this opportunity to go back to my roots, and understand other people's roots. And I think that's what the world needs, just understanding of where you come from and where other people come from, and why other people are how they are and why you are how you are, to create a more functioning
and we
society.
all the same. Like, I feel like everybody's kind of the same person in a weird way. Like, we all go through the same shit. Like, it's just different forms of it. Yeah.
The same way. We all get our feelings hurt. We all,
go through
no
ups
matter
and downs,
what.
all that shit. Yeah.
Exactly. So if everybody could just accept that,
be a better place.
This would be real heaven.
Facts.
But right now, it just seems that no matter what direction we go into, even if this became a little bit more progressive, there's always just groups of people, no matter in what culture, no matter in what anything, that are just anti. Yeah. And that's not the answer to any of this. Like, no matter how much pain, and everything that you've gone through, the answer isn't to try to inflict pain back on others or try to be like, oh, well, you guys did this to me. It's our turn, or like, that's just not the answer. The answer is like harmony, really.
Yeah. I feel like those people just aren't happy with life, so they feel like they have to make someone else's life worse off because I'm not happy with my own. So
exactly.
It's just stupid, like, to me.
Yeah. The answers are pretty simple, but I guess, but maybe I feel that way growing up in LA with diverse cultures. Like my elementary school had an equal amount of everybody. So, the potlucks were lit, we had everybody's food. Like, I went over to all kinds of people's houses. My mom allowed anybody into, not anybody, but like, my mom wasn't going to be like, no, that kid can't come up. No, like, and we all played and laughed and had fun. And I'm just so grateful that I got to grow up in that environment. Because, I think other people who are, racist or sexist is just because they didn't get to grow up in an environment like that. And then they also didn't want to unlearn it. Because unlearning things or giving up your privilege for some people, even if it's like a male privilege or a white privilege, like, that's hard to give up. People with privilege don't want to give up their privilege. Yeah. But I mean, if people could just drop that guard down, drop the ego down a little bit, we would all just be so much happier.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wait, down. You said something. I keep forgetting shit.
Good.
You said that the answer would be harmony. Is that what you said?
Yeah, like peace and like understanding and like all of those things would bring harmony like to this earth.
Yeah, I always just felt that. Yeah, like the world just needed to love more. And then,
love is the answer.
Yeah,
as
love.
Corny as that sounds.
like it's such a hippie thing to say, but
yeah,
it is
but
the answer.
Love is the answer. That's the core of everything, and that's what makes things great.
What do you think love is?
So I feel like that was such a deep question. I was already no, I'm kidding. But can I start with like what love is not?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that would kind of.
That's a cool way. Most people try to just get into it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like love is not like possession or anger or trying to. I feel like we think that love is like just having this like person and putting them in your pocket and like not and that's not what love is. Love is like. I feel like love is so simple, but we've overcomplicated it. Love is just like, just kind of just being at peace with people. And like when any like angry tensions arise to just like, bring people back down. I feel like love is understanding. Love is, I feel like love really, really does come down to just a lot of understanding. Like when you can sit and try to understand people, like no matter what they've gone through and everything, I feel like that's love. But just now with our generation, I feel like people have tainted love into thinking that you have to endure a lot of pain to then deserve love. And I feel like that's exactly what it's not. I feel like yes, love is a developmental journey, something that you almost kind of learn a little bit too. Like it's a learning process because everybody accepts love in a different way, or everybody wants to be loved in different ways. And all of that comes from your childhood upbringing, your childhood traumas, and all of those things. So I think love is just understanding people's backgrounds, people's traumas. And love is mutual, and love is respect. Love is all things that make you feel good. And anything that doesn't make you feel good, I feel like isn't love. But I feel like we've been kind of tricked into thinking that, again, you have to go through all this pain and suffering, and then that's when you deserve love. But I don't think so. I think love right off the bat is just peace. Just happiness, That's how I feel about it.
For sure.
Yeah. I felt that like, or I guess for me, for love, I always just felt it was all things. So like it's everything it comes with. Yeah. So like even with the pain, like I feel like that's just part of it. I don't know.
Damn, bro. When have I talked to you, bro? Jesus Christ. Did I give you that, or did you come to that yourself?
It's from our talks, but like it's from just thinking about this shit.
That's my answer too.
But
I think it's everything. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, like even like the hardships, like that was love. Like
because I think everyone, I don't know if everyone, but I feel like most people will experience some type of hardship at some point in their lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then being able to understand like that this hardship is something that I need to be going through because I'm enjoying this process of getting to where I need to be. Like, that's part of the journey, the hardships, the ups and downs. And I feel like all that is love. Like.
Yeah.
All of that.
I guess I just feel like love between like people is like, because some people will use their hardships as excuses, as hey, I act this way because I'm just like this, and I feel like that's
immaturity. I feel
that's not love. Blaming certain things and being like, well, you have to put up with me, and you have to put up with me because I went through all of this. And like for people to think that that's love, I don't think that's love. For me, love would be, hey, I went through all of these things and I'm like this because of all of those things, but I love you so much that I'm going to work on all of that and truly work. Like love is work. So yeah, of course that's hard through the process, but I feel like love is just trying to find the peace and the balance in it and not placing blame and not making excuses for why you are the way that you are.
Definitely.
I fuck with that. Well,
yeah.
Damn, like it's crazy. Like your mind is crazy. Like
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard this all before.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I talk to people all the time about that.
You're like, are you like that? You have those type of conversations.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm just like a spiritual person, so like
I feel you.
I used to be thinking all the time, like about deep shit, like so.
You ever think like, wow, like I'm this person and like I'm only this person and I only know how I feel and I'll never know how anybody else feels.
Yeah.
Because they're their own person and like I could have been any person but I'm me.
Yeah, like I had definitely.
That's what I've been thinking about.
Yeah, like it's kind of crazy because like even you look at yourself, like, you'll never see yourself. Like I'll never even know what I look like type shit. Only you guys can see me.
Or how people perceive you.
Yeah,
right
like,
off the bat.
Because honestly, sometimes I feel like I don't even know who I am. Like what other people tell me, like tells me like who I am. Like what the fuck? Like
you're a cool
like
guy.
Thanks, bro. Thanks a lot, man.
You're a cool guy. He's like, that's all I needed to hear.
That's what I'm saying, like shit like that.
That's all I need. I guess I'm a cool guy now.
He's like, oh, you butt ass ugly, like for sure. Like it is what it is.
I guess that is.
Yeah, like it is what it is. Type shit.
So
as a good looking person as yourself, like you feel like you got insecurities.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely stuff on my face that I want to fix. Like there's stuff in my face that I'm like
what? What the fuck?
Okay. I'm gonna walk y'all through it. But will I actually do it? Maybe not. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I don't know.
What? Wait, what is it?
We gonna get there. But one time I was in my gender women's studies class, and we're talking about the cosmetic industry, and like I just feel like it'd be really conflicting if I tried to fix something on my face, and I don't really stand for that. And she was in there. She was like, can you believe that the cosmetic industry like preys on these girls' insecurities to the point where they're injecting poison into their face?
Dang,
and I was like, damn, but then also being in this social media world,
right,
and that being a business and your physical almost being like business, because if you look a certain way, certain brands are gonna attract to you and stuff like it's literally business. And I think that's the only reason why I've contemplated that. And I think the only reason why I've contemplated that is because I know, but then it's also contradictory. This is where I'm very contradictory and lost. Like, I know better than to want something like that, Mm-hmm. And I feel whole and I feel good about myself. And like, I do have newfound confidence, but sometimes I'm like, damn, if I adjusted that, like I'd get the picture much easier. But okay, so the very first thing that I ever became insecure about, and it was because this boy had said it to me, and I was in middle school, and he told me I had a big nose.
I was just about to say, was it your nose? But
it was.
Damn,
yeah, he had told me I had a big nose, and I was like, damn, I never thought of that. And then I kind of started paying attention to it.
Wow.
So then, and then after that, it was my forehead. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm hiding it, but it's there. I'm put the hair down for the video, but it's here.
Damn.
But then there's Rihanna, and I'm
yeah, she bad. Like
she's bad. So I'm like, I mean, she could pull the forehead off, But
I mean, how many followers you got?
Like
a million,
like 200 something,
almost 300K, right? Like,
yeah,
man, you chilling and like clearly.
But that doesn't, but that really doesn't mean to me that's crazy. But the thing is, like, I mean, I'm not gonna get a forehead reduction, and nose jobs are just scary to me.
Nah, they do make a difference though. Nose jobs, like, who got one recently? Not Beyonce. Didn't Beyonce get one?
She has a nose job. I mean, honestly, everyone in the.
Oh yeah, Simone Walker.
Oh, I didn't like that one though.
Wait, Summer Walker. There we go. Yeah,
I thought her nose was perfectly fine.
Yeah, I thought she was cute way before the fucking surgery. She was
perfectly cute, and when stuff like that happens, I'd be like, wait, and then I'm like, I'm 19. Like, at the end of the day, I have a young face, and it's subject to change and stuff. True. So I don't know. And then my face is just asymmetrical. I have two different faces.
Oh, it's not asymmetrical?
No, it's asymmetrical.
That's good. Wait.
No. Good is symmetrical.
My bad.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, what do you want now?
You're right.
Nah, yeah, but it's like, I'll show you guys later. But like, one side of my lip is basically plumper than the other side. And like, when I open the front camera, like, you could just, like, stuff just be lopsided. Stuff just be lopsided.
What the fuck? Nah, are you photogenic? Like, would you say you're photogenic?
I mean, I could say I know my angles.
Okay, because, yeah, like, I fucking suck. Like, I have no angles. Like, that shit terrible. Or actually, no, this is my good side. That shit weird. Yeah.
Like, I just know I can almost picture, like, what will be behind the camera depending on what I do. So I try to fix myself to look how I want it to look. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I mean, I definitely have my little insecurities, but at the very end though, I don't think I'm insecure because I know that all of this physical, artificial stuff is solely just a shell. Mm-hmm. It's just a shell that holds together something that's a million times more valuable than what's on the outside. And then we're all gonna get old, and at one point we're just not, that no matter how much you try, no matter how many Botox injections you get, you're just not gonna look like your youthful self, So I think you should just enjoy this, embrace it, and understand that people aren't gonna remember you as, oh yeah, she was the prettiest girl in high school, but like the real memories that are gonna attract to people was, oh, you know what, like when I didn't have anything, like she took something off her back to give to me, or she didn't have anything but was there for me, or and I think those are memories that I want to make with people. I want to be remembered by that.
Yeah, that's deep. It's real.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why, like, modeling to me has never just been like an image. To me it's like I want to be a voice and I want to be a message behind all of this. Yeah, kind of my goal with that.
So like, what's like your message? Like, what do you think? Like, I know you said a lot already, but I'm like, what's like what's your direct message? Like,
I don't think I have a direct message, but I think it just has to do with people having an open mind and encouraging people to go and learn about a lot of other things and learn about, roles as a woman, roles as a man, roles as, a person of color, roles with white privilege. Like, I just want people to learn and be aware, because I feel like with knowledge, it would cancel out the ignorance, and I just want to move to a better functioning society. I don't want to open my mail or the news and just read all the stuff that I'm reading right now. All the acts of hate, all the acts of violence toward, like women, children, people of color. Like, that makes me really uncomfortable that I live in a world that has all of that,
Yeah. Like me, I want to be the change. Like, I definitely want to make the world a better place than how I found it. Like, that's definitely my goal down the line. I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do that, but like, I dream of like having all the countries. I don't know why we all just can't like pool all the resources and share. Like, just make one unit. I study economics, so like, it's all one big fucking, it's like a study of greed, basically. It's just how greedy everyone is, and like wants all the resources to themselves. It's disgusting.
It's so disgusting.
It's like, I'm like, why can't we all just fucking pull that shit for the betterment of everybody, like even the poor people equal to the rich person, type shit.
That's what we need. We need equity, you know, to create stuff for everybody that works, and we can do that. You know, why are we sending or spending billions or trillions on NASA? What the fuck is NASA?
War. Like what the war? What the fuck are we doing? Why are we fighting?
What the fuck are we doing?
Exactly.
What the fuck are we doing?
Thank you. Like,
what are we doing though? And I think the problem though right now is like, okay, we read about all the people in the civil rights movement and what they did. You know, they risked it all for the stuff that they believed. And like, bro, I would kiss the ground that they walked on if I could. Like, to me, it's just like they were really about it. Like, you know, I learned here about, you know, just implementing cultural studies in our curriculum. So the way that they did that was students stopped going to school. They protested. They went to jail over this. Like, they went to jail to allow me to go and learn these things. But we're not about it. Realistically, we're not. We're not willing to risk or like, I feel like I would be if I had a bigger group behind me. I was about to say but that's not. But then that means that I'm not really about it. Like I am, but there's stuff that I'm not willing to risk.
Nah,
like those
strength in
people,
numbers though. Like you need people. Like
you do need.
Yeah, you
people.
can't be by yourself doing that shit.
Yeah, you'd lose it all. But
Facts.
you have to be willing to like to lose it all and seem crazy and go to jail and lose your job and go broke.
Everyone
and
want to die for it, pretty much.
You have to want to die for it. And people don't want to die for these changes. But to me, I'm like, if I had a group big enough, like, I would die for these changes. For real. Like, because that's a real purpose. What's the point of me living this lavish life and you know, reaching all of these goals that I have, but no change was made, but I'm gonna leave Earth, like you said, the same way that I brought it. Did I really live for something? So that's how, you know, I want to, because I got the chance to have this platform, I want to use that first. You know, I want to try that out to reach people like that. And then like that, you know, maybe we can all come together and, you know, really like make changes. Because right now it's like, what changes have we made to laws or, you know, maybe
Nothing.
A few, maybe something little. But yeah, I did vote.
All right, for sure. Did you vote? All right, yeah, I voted too. So yeah, that's the change. Like,
yeah, little by little. And the thing is that at the end of the day, though, change is gonna take years. You know, change is gonna take years. But I would love to be a pioneer, like, you know, to start at least some type of movement or change, or just be a part of it.
Nah, social change right now is important as fuck. So like,
I
feel like you could do that shit for sure.
Yeah, especially finding like-minded people who also, you know, feel passionate about it. That's important.
So how you feeling?
I think we got enough.
You think so?
Yeah.
For sure.
We don't want to. You got to look through the whole thing.
Oh, that's fine. That's nuts.
He's like, I'm gonna have to listen to this whole thing again.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, I think we did good.
No, that shit was solid.
Sheesh, man.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Make sure you guys like it. No, I'm just kidding.
Like,
follow, subscribe, all that.
Comment below.
Right.
We'll put the fucking IG tag at the bottom.
Yeah, but you know, go make sure you guys the subscription or whatever people say.
It'll be there.
Make sure you guys go buy our merch.
Do we have merch?
Not yet.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, merch coming soon.
Don't do it.
Is this the time for me to do my performance?
Oh, yeah.
You have a performance?
Oh, go for it.
I'm just
Oh, shit. I was gonna say, what the fuck?
All right. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Well. Sounds good.
Just fade it out, bro. Nah,
right.
It always has to end like that. Right there. As we're saying it, we have to fade it out, bro. I swear, I gotta see that shit, bro.
That's so funny.
That's in the Janelle.